Hello, class. Good day. So, welcome you to another section of our class. This is social work, and this is module 6 under social work. Do not forget, as it has been mentioned initially, that we'll be having 10 different modules, which implies that we'll also be having 10 different videos like this. This is the 6th video, and the topic that we'll be treating in this video is mental health and substance abuse. Don't forget, we are working on our course is social work, so whether we like it or not, we still have to look at mental health and substance abuse. It is one of the major works, one of the major departments to look at when we are talking about social work. So, and we have the content of the module to be 1, the meaning of mental health, and following by the understanding mental health issue. Then we also look at common disorders and symptoms. Then we'll move on to the stigma reduction strategies. Then next to that is substance abuse intervention. Then we will move on to the addiction assessments and recovery plans, followed by harm reduction approaches, then the therapeutic techniques. That will be the last subtopic under this module. So now let's move forward to the introductory part of the module, where we have mental health and substance abuse to be that they represent two of the most significant and interconnected public health challenges facing societies today, like currently. So, however, mental health refers to emotional, psychological, and social well-being. That is the status, the well-being of our emotional and psychological and social well-being of ourselves. So it also shapes the way we think, the way we feel, the way we behave, the way we cope with stress, and also shapes our relationships, and also make decisions in everyday life, or the way we make decisions in everyday life. So far from being simply the absence of mental illness, which is majorly the general layman definition of mental health, that is the absence of mental illness. So good mental health is a positive state that enables individuals to realize their potential, contribute to their communities, and experience a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Yes, despite its fundamental importance to overall health and quality of life, mental health continues to be surrounded by widespread misunderstanding, deep-rooted stigma, and insufficient resources in many parts of the world. So let's move on to the meaning of mental health as one of the subtopics that I'll be looking at in this module. We have that sorry about that. A widely accepted scholarly definition of mental health, it comes from the World Health Organization, WHO, whereby they describe it as a state of well-being in which an individual realizes their own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to their community. This is the general definition most commonly used by and defined by WHO. So this definition emphasizes mental health, that it is not merely as the absence of mental illness, but it is also a positive dynamic state that encompasses emotional, psychological, and social dimensions. It highlights the importance of resilience, productivity, and social integration by allowing individuals to thrive rather than just survive. So, for instance, realizing one's ability, it involves self-awareness and personal growth, while coping with stresses, it implies adaptive mechanisms like problem solving and emotional regulation. So let's move on to understanding mental health issue. So therefore, mental health issues refer to a range of conditions that disrupt an individual's thinking, individual's mood, behavior, or ability to relate to others, often leading to distress or impaired functioning. These issues can arise from genetic, environmental, or experiential factors and vary in severity from mild to severe. So let's move on to common disorders and symptoms. When we are talking, this is another subtopic under this this module. Common mental health disorders are recognized by organizations like the WHO, which is the World Health Organization, and the American Psychiatric Association (APA). Here are some prevalent ones. That is the prevalent common disorder and symptoms. We have one to be major depressive disorder (MDD). We have anxiety disorders. We have bipolar disorder. We have schizophrenia. Then we have post-traumatic stress disorder (PTSD). So the PTSD, we can say, is mostly the most common and related one that people can easily relate to. So let's move on to the next subtopic, which is stigma reduction strategies. So stigma surrounding mental health issue can prevent individuals from seeking help, which could lead to isolation and worsened outcomes. When you have a mental health issue, and this stigma can also prevent individuals from seeking help. When individuals refuse to seek for help, this can be very dangerous and challenging, in the sense that it can lead to isolation, and which would also worsen the outcomes or the situation of this mental health. Therefore, effective strategies to reduce stigma include the following. We have one, education and awareness campaigns. That is, appropriate education and awareness campaigns to the masses and individuals who are under this who are passing through this phase. So proper education, educating them. Most people, they don't, when there is no proper education about the challenges or the circumstances they don't know what next to do, and they might be this in depth in them that could later cause a great danger to their health, so by not seeking help. So proper education and awareness campaigns to the people, so they can know, they can be more enlightened on the circumstances they are facing, or the kind of health issue they are facing. So now we have to be promoting open conversations, that is making the society a open-minded one, whereby people can easily communicate. That is, communication is very essential in this aspect, promoting open conversations to the people. So then we have mindful language use. That is, we try to consider and be very careful in the kind of languages that is being used. And we have interpersonal contacts. So as one of the effective strategies to reduce stigma in the society, interpersonal contact. And lastly, we have self-advocacy and professional training. This is mainly left to the individual. So by trying to advocate for his or herself, and also going through professional training. So we have the next subtopic is substance abuse intervention. So when we talk about substance abuse, it simply means that, or can be defined as the harmful or hazardous use of psychoactive substances, which include alcohol and illicit drugs, or the misuse of prescription or over-the-counter medication for the purposes other than intended. So which can lead to adverse consequences in health, social or occupational domains. So this substance abuse can involve different patterns of compulsive use despite negative outcomes, distinguishing it from occasional or recreational use. Substance abuse often progresses along a continuum from risky use to full substance use disorder (SUD), a chronic medical condition characterized by impaired control over use, continued use despite harm, cravings, tolerance, and withdrawal symptoms. This is the main way, the way we can intervene in substance abuse. So we have a lot of young people out there who use substances illicitly, illicit drugs, even sometimes alcohol and any forms, other forms of drugs, who intentionally misuse it, sorry, for prescription and the likes. So now let's move on to addiction assessment and recovery plans. We have addiction assessment, we that it involves a structured, comprehensive evaluation to determine the presence, severity, and impact of a substance use disorder, as well as any co-occurring condition that may influence treatment needs. This process typically begins with screening tools to identify potential issues quickly, followed by in-depth clinical interviews, standardized instruments, and the likes, physical examination, laboratory tests, which could entail e.g. urine or blood analysis, and collateral information from family or records. So this is the addiction assessment and recovery plans. So we have harm reduction approaches. This focuses on minimizing the negative consequences of substance use without requiring immediate abstinence. So it focuses on a way to reduce or minimize the negative consequences of substance use or substance abuse without total or immediate abstinence. Which by prioritizing health, safety, dignity, and human rights. This pragmatic, non-judgmental philosophy accepts that some level of substance use may continue, not like total eradication. It may continue and seeks to meet people where they are, building trust and gradually encouraging positive change. So the core strategies in harm reduction approaches, they include: one, we have needle exchange programs, where we have syringe services programs, SSPs, and the likes. Two, we have overdose prevention and naloxone distribution. Three, we have supervised consumption sites. So that is the overdose prevention sites where they try to monitor how drugs are being consumed. So then we have medication assisted treatment, MAT. So then the last one, we have therapeutic techniques. So under that, we have that therapeutic techniques for mental health and substance abuse aim to address underlying causes, that is what could be the cause, modify behaviors, and build coping skills through evidence-based methods like counseling methods. These are the different techniques for mental health and substance abuse to address the causes and also to try to modify the behaviors, and how to also cope by building coping skills through evidence-based methods. Like through this can become in form of counseling methods. So however, counseling is a core intervention that is often delivered individually, in groups, or with families. So the key methods to therapeutic techniques include the following. We have one to be cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. We have two to be dialectical behavioral therapy, while we also have motivational interviewing. So that is an interview that has to do with motivating the individual, the abuser, let's put it that way, substance abuser. And we have person-centered therapy. So in conclusion, this module has been able to eliminate the profound interconnections between mental health and substance abuse, by revealing them not as isolated issues but as intertwined challenges that demand integrated, compassionate, and evidence-based responses. From understanding the WHO's, that is the World Health Organization's, holistic definition of mental health, which is as a state of well-being that enables individuals to realize their potential and contribute meaningfully to society, to exploring the continuum of substances use from risky behaviors to chronic substance use disorders. So we have now been able to see how these conditions frequently co-occur through dual diagnosis, when one can exacerbate or even trigger